Hi everyone, thanks a lot for tuning in. I'm Peter Beck, the CEO and co-founder of Canpla, and very happy to today have Christian Lunner, the CEO and partner at SERWIZ, as guest here in Surfed, where we can do a founder story and dive a little bit into your journey. You have had a really impressive journey through the industry, both working at Core, ISS, ending up at CEO for Sodexo in Denmark before starting SERWIZ. But could we maybe start with you giving a little introduction to yourself and your journey forwards through the contract catering industry?
Yeah, thanks, and happy to participate, Peter. I have been working in the service business almost all my career, and when you first get into it, it's difficult to get out of it. I don't know if that's good or bad, but you're right. I have been working in Core for a lot of years, ISS, and I ended up as CEO in Sodexo in Denmark, trying to maybe revitalize or make some growth, change some things in Sodexo Denmark. Sodexo is a huge global company. In Denmark, we are a small market, small country. So during COVID, they decided to exit small countries, and that was unfortunately. But the good thing is that it gave birth to SERWIZ. Instead, looking back now, it's only 4 years, I guess. We have had SERWIZ since we left Sodexo.
Can you tell a little bit more about that whole journey from Sodexo deciding to exit Denmark to you and the team doing the management buyout and starting to creating this new brand, SERWIZ?
Yeah, it was kind of it's something that's just kind of starts in the small when you starting finding out that things might change, and then you start thinking, okay, what should be the next steps? And then pretty early on, I found out that Sodexo's exit possibilities was a MBO. So I started talking to some colleagues and also with some in Sodexo. And then it just materialized during some month, and it got more and more, it got closer to, in fact, they wanting to accept a letter of intent and us daring to send a letter of intent. And it's been a really fun process. It was COVID time, so everything was via Teams. We never met with those we were negotiating with. So a bit strange, but we managed.
Yeah, no, it was a strange time indeed at that period
Yeah,
of time.
definitely.
When you looked at of course Sodexo, as you said, a huge global corporation, and then founding SERWIZ, which was of course a local, much smaller organization in the beginning, just a few people. What were some of the things that you kind of wanted to change? What are some of the things you kind of wanted to do differently, going from being to some degree under the remit and guidelines of the big corporation to now doing it on yourself?
Yeah, a good question, because there's a lot of catering companies, cleaning companies, various sizes, regional, global, local. So the discussions we had was, why should we do this? What would be our differentiators? Were there any differentiators? And pretty fast we came up with that we thought we had some pretty good differentiators, and there was in some ways we wanted to do things differently. It's great to be a global company. It gives you a lot of power and possibilities, but it also comes with a lot of difficulties to do things the same way globally. And advantage we thought we could utilize in fact, and become more agile. Also because we only wanted to be in the Danish market.
Super interesting. What were then some of the points that you mentioned about the differentiation? Very correctly, that is both of course, the global ones like Compass and ISS that operate in Denmark, but there's also a lot of regional, middle and larger caterers, as well as some smaller ones. What were some of the things that you wanted to do differently? What was some of like the license to play to some degree that you saw for SERWIZ when starting it here in Denmark?
Yeah, we had 3 things that were important to us, or maybe 4, in fact. The first one was that we wanted to be a, what do we call it? Not a decent company. I'm not sure. We wanted to be a company that our customers could trust and be sure that we were not cheating, not paying wrong salaries to our employees. We wanted to be sure that work environment was good. So that was one very important thing for us. And I will say all the companies I've been working in, Sodexo, ISS, Core, they all are that kind of company. But there are others, unfortunately, that don't have it that way. So that was kind of just a thing, basic thing we needed to have in effect. And then we had all the sustainability agenda. I think we have, to be honest, pretty much of this planet, and we pretty much agreed that we definitely needed to chip hardly into that agenda. So that's really important for us. And often companies say a lot, but they do very little. And often it's a price game, and it's a price game for us as well. But the sustainability part was very important for us. Then we had, we started out talking a lot about digitalization, but it has turned into data instead. And we want to make data an incremental thing in our company and in our value proposition to our customers. We today have a lot of data, and you can say, oh, making a meal and clean, where's the data? But there's a lot of data. And if you have to, if you want to change things, you need data, and you need valid data. And your company, Campla, you also have a lot of data, and we use some of those data as well. So we have invested a lot of money in being able to create valid data to our customers. And we provide our customers with we call it a customer cockpit, where they can access all their data live. And soon we will launch a CO2 to our customers, where we have a 99% correct CO2 baseline we can provide to our customers. So data, we wanted to make a difference there. And then the last one is transparency. There's a lot of fog in pricing in our business, and it's difficult for our customers to understand the pricing. And we just said we don't have anything to try to hide. So we are 100% transparent to our customers. There's a lot of bonus and kickback in this business, and we show it one-to-one to our customers. On the other hand, we also want to be a profitable company, but we are low margin, so there's no problem for us to be transparent. So those were the 3-4 differentiators.
And when you now you have been on this journey for about 4 years with SERWIZ, which of the 4 like ethically great companies, sustainability, data, transparency, which of the ones do you feel like have been the biggest challenge to live up to and to deliver on during this journey?
Definitely sustainability.
Yeah.
Because you know, a lot of customers, they really want to do it good, but 9 out of 10 times it comes back to price. Unfortunately, they a lot say and want the right things, but when it comes down to you know, free range eggs, organic fruit, animal well-being, that comes with a price. If you have to choose these things, fortunately, it's the price that wins.
Yeah. So you experience maybe that companies are maybe not willing to, generally speaking, pay the price that it actually takes to do what is creating an impact sustainability-wise.
Yeah, exactly. And some of it is also our own fault, I think, because we are not good enough in storytelling. Often people don't know that you maybe have 11 pesticides in a banana instead of buying where there's 0 pesticides. and maybe it comes with a really small additional cost, in fact. So that we try to not save the world, but a little by little challenge our customers and try to make them aware of how they can maybe take a wiser choice and maybe not always focus on the price.
Super, super interesting. One of the things that also, at least for me, really stood out during the journey of SERWIZ was that, of course, you did the management buyout there on the COVID, but quite quickly after you made a very, very major acquisition of Appetize Plus, which, if I remember correctly, almost doubled the business overnight. Can you tell a little bit more about both that process, but also why did you decide on doing that, and how has it been in integrating and managing such a big change that I must assume that it has been for both you, but also for the organization as a whole?
Yeah, it has been 3 hard, interesting years. But when we bought Sodexo Denmark, it was a quite small company, and we knew that we had some 3, 4 major customers that was 75-80% of our revenue. It was kind of risky, and one of the customers was the COVID, in fact, test centers in Denmark, and we knew that would end. So we decided that we needed to be bigger risk-wise. That was one thing. Another thing was that the things we wanted to create, we didn't have the muscle to do it, because the smaller you are, the less money you have to invest in your company, because you generate less profit, and you can't have that high on SG&A. So that was also the reasons that we wanted to buy. And the 1 billion DKK space was the spot we wanted to reach, in fact, because we have calculated that would give us some muscle, not too big and not too small.
Super, super interesting. And what about like the whole like integration process then? Because like, of course, it's great to sit in the boardroom and say, hey, we want to grow, we want to be bigger so we can have more muscles and create the services we want and need for our clients. But then doing it in real life with Zoom, it's almost like, if hundreds, if not thousands of people that were onboarded, a whole culture that needs to be created, and so on. I also must assume that has been a really real challenge going into.
You definitely need a good plan. And that's the easiest thing. And then you really ruthlessly need to execute on your plan. And we did that within 6 months. We had executed on all action points in our plan. So I would say that some of the success we have had with it was our ability to execute what we had planned. The difficult part is, as you also say, creating a new company. I think we got maybe 60-70% more employees, reached 2,200 employees from, I don't know what we were in Sodexo, 500 maybe, or so this, and make that change and explain to other people that haven't taken that decision to become SERWIZ why it's a good idea, and make them get their trust and the understanding. That's definitely difficult, and it takes time. Really, the most challenging thing, and it's all. I bought a lot of these M&A books and were reading them, and they all said, "Well, don't underestimate the culture part." And so, yeah. It will come. We are good and nice people, but it's really surprised me how difficult it is, and it takes time. The hard things are easy to implement.
Super, super interesting. And then it seemed like, at least understandably, the first couple of years after that was, of course, a lot about integration and management, but it also seemed like you now really have managed to make it one SERWIZ, and also saw that you here not long ago actually won Best Managed Companies by Deloitte. Is that also something that you see as an achievement through some of that, or like, why do you think that you have won that kind of award here with SERWIZ?
I think we are a young company, so we are quite surprised that we won it. But But I think we have invested in creating a really, really solid company based on we are triple ISO certified. We have a digitalized quality system. We have invested in a new CRM system that went live a year ago, in fact. The basis in our company is really, really good, and it's really scalable, and we have really good insights. And that was, in fact, some of the feedback we got. That it was pretty impressive that the younger company were able to have that so solid processes. But it's due to investing heavily in it, and it really takes time. I would never do it again, making these processes, being able to get a quality certification. Really tough job.
I also know that from experience, getting those ISO certifications, they definitely
Yeah,
take a lot of work.
yeah.
One of the things that's also, of course, you mentioned yourself, it's a relatively young company. And that also, of course, asks the question, like, what does the future look like for SERWIZ? What do you want to accomplish next?
Continue winning in the market, continue what we are doing. I think we have built a really nice company. I think we are proud of it, in fact. We have a very, very, very low employee turnover among our white-collar employees. And it's because we have built a nice place to be. People like to work at SERWIZ. I think that's one of the best proofs you can take whether you have created something that's good. If your employees want to stay, it can't be that bad. So I think that's that we definitely don't want to change or disrupt. We have been buying companies, and maybe we'll do that again if something comes by. I don't know. We like to win in the market. Growth is not that important to us, to be honest. We want to have a profitable company with good, solid, profitable contracts, because it makes everything much easier. Because in fact, you can give the service that the customers have bought. You can provide it when you are not going into low and stupid calculations. It's very easy to grow. You just lower the prices. But growing profitable is that's more difficult.
People is completely central to this industry. Like, you can also hear like how many people you employ in SERWIZ, multiple thousands. Like, it is, of course, essential in the way you manage a company like this. What have you done? What do you think you have done differently in the way that you go about people and culture and so on? And are there any like concrete tips or tricks or insights or things that you think others could learn from that you have implemented in SERWIZ?
Yeah. I think one thing is that many large companies destroy the power and the joy their employees and leaders possess. Because the larger a company gets, the more control mechanisms they try to implement to be sure that they have control. What we have done is doing the opposite. It's giving the organization space and room to take decisions. We trust they want to take the best decisions for SERWIZ. I think it works, and I think it's one of the reasons that our employees like to work with us. Normally, I say the higher up decisions come, the stupider the decisions are. Because employees, they have to make these large presentations to management, and management they have to read it and try to understand, instead of the ones that in fact have the knowledge also have the power to implement, and that we have done. You have to make a company where it's okay to make faults, and I think we have done that. I don't think we make many faults. So we have a lot of decisions that are taken closer to our customers and frontline employees, and that gives us agility and better decisions.
Many companies that goes out to tender either for facility management services or contract catering services, they maybe sometimes sit with the feeling of like, how can I really know whether or not this company will be better than that one? I think that's also potentially why many defaults looking at price, because that's comparable across all providers. What would you say to them? Like, how do you think that you try to do it differently in SERWIZ, and how would you maybe advise companies to look at when they are choosing the right provider for them to operate either their workplace dining or their offices, etc.?
Yeah, I think you have to peel the onion into smaller parts. If you don't look closer into it all companies kind of seem the same, I would say. We say the same as our competitors do. But when you then take a bit closer look, open the hood in the car, I think many say a lot that they in fact can't do. And we try not to tell stories to our customers. We try to be really honest about things, and so be more curious, I would say. Double click on what you are being told. So more curiosity for the buyers.
Yeah, well, super cool. A few of the last things that I wanted to touch upon before we end this exciting conversation is a little bit more about like the industry as a whole. Now you have, of course, been in the industry for quite some time now. What do you see as some of the most prominent changes that have happened during your time in the industry?
Yeah, good question. I would say some things they don't change in this business. One of the things I have been surprised that hasn't changed is technology. I would have expected technology to be far more implemented and usable, but today it's still that people business 80 or more percent of our cost is employees. So I would say I'm surprised that we haven't seen more great robots, but I think it will come. I think in 20 years you will have robots in the kitchens as chefs. It's going really fast now, but for now, I think it's that it hasn't gone faster has surprised me. Many have said that people will stop coming into the office. That was wrong. Bit surprised about that. People have come back to the offices. Many companies are now saying that they must be at the office. Also, pretty surprised about that. And then again, the sustainability part that it almost has disappeared again. I think that's kind of sad, to be honest, because we have a planet that's not pretty good going, and I think we all have an obligation to try to fix it for not for you but your kids and grandkids. We're not talking that much about it, but I think it will come back again, definitely.
When you look ahead, like let's say 5, 10 years ahead, are these some of the trends that you still foresee really shaping the industry with robots, with sustainability, etc. When we look 5, 10 years ahead?
Definitely.
Could you like when you look at like your contracts and your like operations, do you like how large a degree of people to robot replacement do you potentially foresee over the 10, 20 year period in this industry?
I think that the robots going forward will be much more like humanoid like. It's not these on small wheels that can't open a door. It will be more humanoid kind of robots that will be able to open a door. Probably will AI look into a room and find out is this clean, is it not clean, and where should I clean it? Probably in kitchens, dishwashers, probably chefs doing cutting of the vegetables probably faster and better than humans. A lot of research is going into making these humanoids, or what we should call them, into hairdressers, etc., etc. So I would say probably in 20 years, if you look at what they're able to do today, you're going to have a robot backflipping today and stand on its legs. And then we see will it be cheaper or will it be that effective? I don't know. I think definitely it will come fast.
Yeah. No, we also saw that the launch of like the Norwegian American company Neo, for instance, launched the home robot not long ago that suddenly can do dishes and so on, starting
Yeah,
to be shipped in 2026 and so on. So there
yeah,
is definitely a lot of things
yeah.
happening and coming here. But do you imagine a world where you in SERWIZ, for instance, to service the same amount of clients you have today would maybe only need half the people, for instance?
I can't predict that. Often, I think we overestimate how fast it goes and the capabilities, but often we underestimate the change that will come in future years and the impact that technology will have on us. But what a percentage I can't tell.
Interesting. Super nice. To end it off here, we will just do a little quick fire. I'll ask a few quick questions, and then you can just try to answer very quickly and simple on the questions. The first one is, now, of course, you have taken the journey through the ranks of contract catering. What would you give of tips to people that are maybe in the early of their careers, maybe they're in the 20s and starting a career in the facility management contract catering industry? How do they progress the fastest? How do they succeed in this industry?
I would say dare to win, or who dares wins. Don't be a mainstreamer. I think we really need young people like you and your team who dares to take a risk and want to change things. Don't be scared. Maybe you will fall and break a leg, but you will come out stronger.
Yeah. Very nice. What about in your own like day to day? Do you have any productivity tips or anything that you do to be more efficient and work better in your day to day?
Yeah, definitely. I make sure that I don't work too much and that my employees are not working too much. We make sure that we have a meeting-free Friday, so we are sure that people go on weekend without having a lot of work to do, so they can come Monday with a fresh brain instead of a tired brain.
Thanks a lot for this conversation, Christian. Really appreciate it. So many good insights and
Yeah,
yeah, thanks a lot.
yeah, it's been fun, Peter.
Thank you, and thanks a lot for everyone listening in. Appreciate it, and speak soon.
Yeah, see you.